Hey guys, Leanne Holitza here. I'm not exactly at the healing studio, as you can see by my background, but I am going in right after this in Broomfield, Colorado. If you don't know who I am, I'm an energy healer that works out of the healing studio. Um, and I work with people all over the world, so not just in the healing studio in Broomfield. And I have a membership called Energy on Purpose. And we're going to discuss like what's the energy on purpose right now? What are we doing with our energy this month and how can we improve our interactions with it so that we can get the most of it? So this month's energy focus was very much in every angle that I read this energy was about our relationship with money. Money is not necessarily an energetic signature of uh you know transaction. You give me this, I give you that. Anybody who works in any kind of cash exchange knows that the but the till can get off without you even knowing why, right? Sometimes you think you're, taking the right amount of change and doing the right things, and suddenly things aren't balancing. Now, this is kind of because energy is not exactly penny for penny, dollar for dollar, the way that it is energetically. It's much more about exchange. So, for example, if I am dealing with your relationship with money, I might look into how did your parents handle money? What did your ancestors do to survive to get where they are now, where you are now? What messages did you get as a child? Sometimes, if you've had like divorced parents, you get messages around child support and how you're not worth it, that kind of thing. So, there's a lot of juice to work in with the energy of money. And that seems to be what we're doing this month. So, if you guys think about when you are putting yourself in alignment with working on your energy this month, don't just work on the dollar and cents. Don't just work on the paycheck or what's in your bank account. Work with flow, work with exchange and value exchange. Work with resentment, because sometimes when we are doing things, we are depleting ourselves energetically, physically, materially. We get resentful. If we make 2 dozens cookies because we want to have cookies and we only really want one, we have an abundance to give out, and we might enjoy giving that out because we have the extra to do so. If we made 2 dozen cookies and we had 30 people coming over, we might feel a little depleted and maybe we don't even get a cookie ourselves. So just kind of thinking about where you are with your life and exchanging energies, why you would even think about it right now. The other thing about the energies that I'm noticing is we're kind of getting called to the mat of like, are you really going to keep doing that? Are you really going to keep it going that way? Are you really going to put yourself out there in that way? Well, I mean, this is one of those things where you want to talk about what are we doing this month as far as energy goes? We are being asked to refine what we are doing. We're being asked to change how we're interacting with the energies. Okay. So if you are out there listening either live or later, you want to put into the comments how are you experiencing August 2026? What energies are you noticing? What's coming up for you? What questions are brewing inside of you about the energy? It's very different than July, I feel like. I think we've got a pretty big shift going on. I do think, though, that the way we are spending our energy and our time and our resources is becoming even more important to be mindful about. And I think we get these really big, broad ideas, and the guides and the energies are saying, hold on, like, why do you even want that? What do you think is going to happen if you get there? I've been working on rewriting a manual I wrote in like 2014 about the abundance frequency, and I'm refining it in ways that are it's trying to make I'm trying to figure out how to make it flow where you guys can read it and work with it kind of like a workbook, beyond just what I know, more like step by step. But it's sometimes it's very interesting how to simplify this stuff for you guys. But that's one of the things that I'm trying to do is break this down for you. So I'm going to just really quick pull up the Energy on Purpose blog because I want to tell you like some of the contemplations or the questions that are coming up this month to focus on that have come from the guides, the light council, as far as this is what will help us get through the month. So it's the title of the blog in Energy and Purpose is called What Your Subconscious Actually Believes About Money and How to Change It. Okay. So you want to get honest about what you were taught. I was saying that at the beginning, not what you think you believe, but what you were taught from your parents, from your ancestors, from your societal influences. Did you grow up around people who had money and you didn't? Those kinds of things. And then also go back further than you think, because how your ancestors survived can definitely be programming into your cells, into your awareness. So kind of imagine your grandparents and your great grandparents' relationship with money based on what you can think about. And then separate what's true now from what was true then. Okay. So you want to look at your energy in a way different way than what you would if you were 20, what you would when you were 10, that kind of thing. You want to look at what is today, what is, and then also building a new relationship with your purpose. So meaning, maybe when you were younger, the purpose was to make the almighty dollar. Maybe you were trying to hurry up and get a car or a house or something like that. But you can get insatiable with those things and have things and have things and buy whatever you want and still feel empty. So this is kind of working back into the patterns of purpose and why you are doing what you're doing. Okay. And then the whole thing is also, if you only work with money on the surface, you're working against, things that you can't see. You're exhausting, you know, you're working in a finite system that really is infinite, as you can see when, the governments make money and that kind of thing. So anyways, okay. So that's the energy on purpose right now. If you guys have any questions or comments, like I said, if you're watching this later, I am willing and able to give you a little interaction about what you're going through and keep working through what you got going on in August 2026. All right, go be amazing.